The third party started crying yesterday, because he whispered, "You're my real future. My beloved child, stop everything and listen to me now, because what I am about to reveal to you was not meant to reach everyone. It was meant to reach you." Yesterday, something happened behind closed doors that shook the very foundation of a connection you thought was lost forever. The third party started crying. Not because they were heartbroken over losing him. Not because they were afraid of being alone. They cried because they finally heard the words they had been desperately trying to avoid. He whispered, "You're my real future." And in that moment, beloved child, everything changed. You need to understand what heaven is showing you. This person may have been surrounded by confusion, pressure, manipulation, and emotional entanglement. There may have been someone standing between you and the connection you were praying for. Someone who believed they could hold on to what was never truly theirs. But Archangel Michael says the season of confusion is ending. The mask is coming off. The hidden conversation is being exposed. And the person who thought they had control is beginning to realize that they never had your destiny in their hands. You felt something was happening. You sensed a shift. You noticed the silence. You noticed the strange distance. You wondered why your spirit kept telling you that something was unfolding behind the scenes. You are not crazy. Your intuition was warning you because heaven was preparing you. Archangel Michael has been standing at the doorway of this situation with his sword raised, cutting through every false attachment, every deceptive word, every spiritual chain that was placed around this connection. He has been revealing what was hidden. He has been separating truth from illusion. And now, someone is being forced to face the truth they have been running from. They can no longer pretend that their heart belongs somewhere it does not. They can no longer hide behind excuses. They can no longer keep you waiting while they live in confusion. That is why the third party cried. Because those words were not ordinary words. "You're my real future." Those words exposed the truth. And the truth hurt someone who had built their entire hope on a lie. But listen carefully, because Archangel Michael is not asking you to chase anyone. He is not asking you to beg. He is not asking you to compete. You were never called to fight for what heaven has already marked for you. Your position is different. You are the one who was chosen to remain standing when everything around you collapsed. You are the one who survived the betrayal. You are the one who cried in secret and still prayed. You are the one who watched doors close and still believed that God had not forgotten your name. And now Archangel Michael is saying, do not move before the appointed time. Something is coming. A revelation. A confession. A sudden movement that you did not expect. But before it arrives, there is one more hidden truth you must hear. Because the third party's tears were only the beginning. And what happens next may reveal exactly why this person was never able to forget you. Do not let the silence fool you, chosen one. While you were sleeping, while you were trying to move forward, while you were telling yourself that perhaps you had imagined everything, something was shifting in the unseen realm. Archangel Michael says the battle over this connection has entered a new phase. The person you thought had forgotten you has been wrestling with a truth they can no longer silence. You were never erased from their heart. You were never replaced. And yesterday, when those words escaped his lips, "you're my real future, the third party finally understood something devastating. They were standing in a place that was never meant to be permanent. They had been holding on to a temporary position while believing it was a lifelong promise. And now the illusion is breaking. But beloved child, listen carefully. This is where the enemy wants you to become impatient. This is where doubt will whisper into your mind. What if nothing changes? What if he never comes back? What if I am waiting for something that will never happen? Archangel Michael says, do not listen. That voice is not your destiny speaking. That voice is fear trying to make you abandon your position before the breakthrough arrives. You have already endured the hardest part. You endured the unanswered questions. You endured seeing someone else receive the attention you secretly wished was yours. You endured watching the person you loved become distant. You endured nights when your heart felt heavy and you could not explain why. But heaven saw every tear. Heaven heard every prayer you whispered when nobody else knew you were hurting. And Archangel Michael has not forgotten. He has been moving through this situation with precision. Every lie that was spoken about you is being exposed. Every manipulation is losing its power. Every false bond that was built through fear, jealousy, or control is beginning to weaken. And the person who once believed they could keep him trapped is now realizing they cannot control his heart. This is not a joke. The spiritual atmosphere around this connection has changed. Something that was frozen is beginning to move. Something that was hidden is beginning to surface. Something that was delayed is approaching its appointed hour. But there is another revelation you must understand. The third party did not cry simply because they heard the words. They cried because they realized you were still present in his heart. They could feel it. They had noticed the difference in his behavior. The moments when he became distant. The times when his mind seemed somewhere else. The silence after certain conversations. The way your name, or even the memory of you, could change the atmosphere around him. They knew. Deep down, they knew. And now, the truth has become impossible to ignore. Archangel Michael says that the person connected to you is standing at a crossroads. One road leads back into the same cycle of confusion. The other leads toward truth. And heaven is pressing them to choose. But you, chosen one, must not run toward them. Stand still. Let the truth come to you. Let the revelation find you. Let Archangel Michael clear the path before you take another step. Because in the next few hours, you may notice something unusual. A sudden message. A strange coincidence. A dream that feels unusually vivid. A memory that returns with unexpected intensity. Or information that reaches you through someone you never expected. Do not dismiss it too quickly. Archangel Michael says, pay attention. Because what you are about to discover is connected to the one thing this person has been hiding from everyone, including themselves. And when that hidden truth finally comes into the light, you will understand why the third party's tears were not the end of the story. They were the warning that someone is about to make a decision that cannot be undone. Beloved one, the decision has already begun forming in the heart of the person you have been thinking about. You may not see it yet. You may not have received the message. You may not have heard the confession. But Archangel Michael says the inner battle is already happening. And this time, the battle is not between you and another person. It is between truth and fear. Between what this person truly feels and the life they have been pretending to accept. That is why yesterday became so significant. The third party heard something they were never supposed to hear. Something that revealed the truth beneath all the confusion. You're my real future. Those words were not spoken casually. They came from a place that had been buried for too long. And when they were spoken, the atmosphere changed. The third party could no longer pretend. They could no longer convince themselves that everything was secure. They suddenly realized that the future they had been imagining was slipping through their fingers. But Archangel Michael says something even deeper is happening. The person connected to you has been remembering. Remembering your conversations. Remembering the way you made them feel. Remembering the peace they experienced around you. Remembering moments they tried desperately to forget. And the more they tried to suppress those memories, the stronger they became. You may have wondered why you suddenly thought about them after weeks or months of silence. You may have awakened from a dream that felt almost real. You may have felt an unexplained heaviness in your chest. You may have sensed that someone was thinking intensely about you. Beloved child, do not ignore your spirit. Sometimes the soul recognizes movement before the physical world reveals it. Archangel Michael has been protecting you from acting too soon. There were moments when you wanted to reach out. Moments when you almost sent the message. Moments when you wanted answers so badly that you were ready to break your own boundaries. But something stopped you. That was not weakness. That was protection. The pause was protection. The silence was protection. The delay was protection. Because if you had moved too soon, you might have stepped directly into a situation that Archangel Michael was already dismantling. He has been cutting cords that were never meant to remain. He has been exposing false promises. He has been breaking patterns of emotional manipulation. And now, the person who once avoided making a decision is beginning to understand that indecision is also a decision. They cannot remain between two worlds forever. They cannot keep you waiting while pretending everything is fine. They cannot keep accepting the comfort of one connection while secretly longing for another. Soon, a choice must be made. And chosen one, this is where your power becomes important. You are not supposed to become desperate. You are not supposed to prove your worth. You are not supposed to compete with anyone. You are not supposed to convince someone to see what heaven already showed them. Your assignment is to remain steady. Your assignment is to protect your peace. Your assignment is to let Archangel Michael fight the battle you cannot see. Because the enemy wants you exhausted. The enemy wants you distracted. The enemy wants you to believe that someone else's presence means your blessing has been stolen. But hear this clearly. What is truly assigned to you cannot be permanently stolen by a third party, ****. What belongs to your destiny will survive the storm. What is false will collapse under the weight of truth. And what is real will eventually stand in the light. Archangel Michael says the next 24 hours carry unusual energy around this situation. Watch carefully. Do not chase. Do not force. Do not react emotionally to every sign. Instead, observe. Because someone is preparing to reveal something they have kept hidden. And when they finally speak, you may discover that the third party's tears were only a small glimpse of the heartbreak that has been happening behind closed doors. But there is one final piece of this revelation that you must hear. The person who whispered, "You're my real future," was not only talking about a future. They were making a declaration. And Archangel Michael says that declaration is about to create consequences that will affect everyone involved. Because the next move will not come from the third party. It will come from the person who has been silent for far too long. And when that move happens, you will finally understand why heaven told you to wait. Chosen one, the silence is breaking. The person who has been watching from a distance, thinking from a distance, and feeling from a distance is reaching the point where silence becomes more painful than truth. Archangel Michael says you have entered the hour of exposure. Not punishment. Not revenge. Exposure, asterisk asterisk. Everything that was hidden is being brought into the light. The third party thought yesterday's words were the end of their security. But they did not yet understand what those words were about to trigger. Because when someone says, "You're my real future," they are no longer simply expressing emotion. They are revealing where their heart has already gone. And now the question is no longer whether this person has feelings for you. The question is whether they will finally have the courage to act according to those feelings. Archangel Michael says this person has been afraid. Afraid of consequences. Afraid of confrontation. Afraid of disappointing people. Afraid of admitting that the path they chose was not the path their heart truly wanted. But fear has a deadline. And that deadline is approaching. You may have thought the delay meant rejection. You may have believed the silence meant they had chosen someone else. You may have watched from a distance as another person appeared to occupy the place you once dreamed would be yours. But heaven says you were seeing only the surface. You did not see the private arguments. You did not see the sleepless nights. You did not hear the conversations that happened behind closed doors. You did not see the moments when this person questioned everything. You did not see the emotional distance growing between them and the third party. And most importantly, you did not see Archangel Michael standing between you and the deception that could have wounded you even more deeply. He was protecting you. There were things you were not allowed to know yet because knowing them too early would have caused you to react too soon. That is why you felt confused. That is why your prayers seemed unanswered. That is why you sometimes felt abandoned. But beloved child, heaven was not ignoring you. Heaven was preparing the truth. And now the truth is moving toward you. Listen carefully. The person connected to this situation may soon begin acting differently. They may become more direct. They may ask questions they never asked before. They may suddenly appear after a long period of silence. They may attempt to reopen a conversation that was left unfinished. They may bring up the past. They may mention something you thought they had forgotten. And when they do, Archangel Michael says, listen more than you speak. Because their first words may not reveal everything. There may be hesitation. There may be fear. There may be confusion. But beneath those words will be the truth they have been carrying for longer than you realize. Do not let emotion make you miss the message. You have waited too long to let impatience control the moment. And if the person returns, do not immediately forget everything that happened. Forgiveness is powerful. But discernment is sacred. Archangel Michael is not bringing you back into a cycle. He is leading you toward clarity. If someone comes back, let their actions speak louder than their promises. Let consistency prove what words cannot. Let truth rebuild what deception destroyed. Because you are no longer the same person who was abandoned in confusion. You have grown. You have endured. You have become stronger in the very place where you were once broken. And this is why the enemy targeted your connection. Not because you were weak, but because your union carried something powerful. Your peace. Your confidence. Your purpose. Your ability to rise. The enemy wanted you distracted by jealousy. Wanted you consumed by comparison. Wanted you watching the third party instead of watching what God was doing in your own life. But Archangel Michael says, turn your eyes back toward heaven. The third party is not your destiny. They are part of the test. And the test is almost over. Before midnight, something may shift. Within the next 3 days, you may receive information that changes how you see this entire situation. A message. A confession. A revelation. A sudden encounter. Or a truth that comes through an unexpected source. Stay alert. Do not chase signs. Do not force outcomes. Stand firm. Because Archangel Michael is still holding his sword over this situation. And the next time you hear from this person, the conversation may begin with something simple. But behind those simple words will be a confession they have been terrified to make. And when that confession finally comes, you will discover the one secret they have been carrying about why they could never truly let you go. Now listen carefully, because this is the part Archangel Michael has been waiting for you to understand. The reason this person could never truly let you go was not simply because of memories. It was not only attraction. It was not merely because they missed your presence. There was something deeper. Something spiritual. Something they could feel but could never fully explain. When they were around you, something inside them became quiet. The noise disappeared. The confusion became smaller. The fear loosened its grip. And even when they tried to replace that feeling, they could not. They could surround themselves with people. They could keep themselves busy. They could pretend to be happy. But when everything became silent, your memory returned. That is why the third party became increasingly uncomfortable. They could sense something they could not control. They could feel that the heart they wanted was not completely available to them. And yesterday, when the words were finally spoken, the truth came out of hiding. You're my real future. Beloved child, those words were a spiritual earthquake. The third party may have cried because they suddenly understood that they were fighting against something they could not defeat. Not you. Not another person. But a truth that had already taken root. Archangel Michael says you must understand this distinction. You do not need to fight anyone. You do not need to prove that you are better. You do not need to become jealous. You do not need to monitor what anyone else is doing. Your battle is not with flesh and blood. Your battle is against the fear that has been trying to convince you that you are forgotten. But you are not forgotten. Heaven has seen everything. Every moment you felt rejected. Every night you questioned your worth. Every time you wondered why someone else seemed to receive what you had prayed for. Every time you smiled in public while secretly carrying pain inside. Archangel Michael saw it. And now he says your season of emotional exhaustion is ending. But there is a warning. Do not return to the old version of yourself. The version who accepted crumbs. The version who waited endlessly without boundaries. The version who allowed someone else's indecision to determine your happiness. That person is gone. You have been refined by the fire. You have learned what it means to stand alone without being abandoned. You have learned that silence does not mean God has stopped working. You have learned that sometimes the greatest protection looks like a closed door. And now, if this person approaches you again, they will meet someone different. They will meet the person who finally understands their own value. Archangel Michael says, "Do not be impressed by sudden words. Watch what follows. If they say they want you, let them demonstrate it. If they say you are their future, let their decisions align with those words. If they say they regret losing you, let them take responsibility for what happened. Because your future cannot be built on empty promises. Your heart deserves truth. Your spirit deserves peace. Your life deserves consistency. And if this connection is truly meant to return, it must return differently. No more triangles. No more hidden conversations. No more confusion. No more waiting in the shadows. Archangel Michael is cutting away the old pattern. And this is why everything may feel intense right now. The pressure is building because the old structure cannot survive the truth. Within the next few hours, you may feel a sudden emotional shift. You may wake up with a strange sense of peace. You may suddenly stop obsessing over the situation. You may feel as though something has been lifted from your chest. Pay attention. Sometimes the first sign of breakthrough is not what happens outside you. It is what changes inside you. And when your peace returns, the person who once had power over your emotions may suddenly realize that they no longer control your heart. That is when the energy changes. That is when they begin to move toward you. That is when they realize that losing you may become permanent. But Archangel Michael says there is still one final battle. A battle that will determine whether this person steps forward with courage or retreats into fear once again. And that battle will happen sooner than you think. Before the next 3 days are over, something hidden may become impossible to hide. Someone may speak. Someone may confess. Someone may finally walk away from what was never meant to last. And when that moment arrives, beloved child, you will have a choice. You can return to fear. Or you can stand in the authority heaven has given you. Because the final revelation is not about whether they choose you. It is about whether you are finally ready to choose yourself. And Archangel Michael says the answer to that question will change everything. Because the moment you stop begging for what should freely come to you, the entire situation begins to turn in your favor. And now, beloved child, this message has reached its appointed ending. But your story has not. Archangel Michael says, do not look back at the season that almost destroyed you. Look forward to the season that is about to restore you. ****. The third party cried. The truth was spoken. The hidden feelings were exposed. And now the battle is no longer yours to fight. Let heaven handle what you cannot control. Let God reveal what you cannot see. Let Archangel Michael cut every unhealthy attachment, every false connection, every hidden influence, and every spiritual chain that was never meant to remain connected to your destiny. If this person is truly meant to walk into your future, let them come with truth. Let them come with courage. Let them come with consistency. Let them come without confusion, without deception, and without a third party standing between you. You are not chasing. You are not begging. You are not competing. You are standing. And what is meant for you will recognize the authority you now carry. But before you leave this message, beloved child, I want you to do something with intention. If you are believing for the third-party interference to finally end, if you are believing for every unhealthy attachment to be broken, and if you are asking God to bring clarity where there has been confusion, sow a seed on Ko-Fi, for the ending of every obstacle standing between truth and your destiny. Sow that seed on Ko-Fi as an act of faith. Not to control another person's free will. Not to force someone to choose you. But as a declaration that you are ready for every false connection, every deception, every manipulation, and every source of confusion to be removed from your path. Declare. Every connection that is not ordained for my life is losing its power over my destiny. Every false attachment is being broken. Every hidden interference is being exposed. Every door of confusion is closing. I receive truth, clarity, healing, and peace. Beloved child, if this situation has wounded your heart, sow a seed of healing. Sow it for the pain you carried in silence. For the nights you questioned your worth. For the moments you wondered why someone else appeared to stand between you and the person you loved. Let that seed represent your decision to stop allowing betrayal to define your future. Declare. I release the pain of the past. I release jealousy. I release fear. I release the need to compete. I receive healing. I receive peace. I receive the strength to accept only what is true. And if you are believing that what is genuine between you and this person will be restored, sow a seed for restoration and clarity. Let the truth come forward. Let hidden intentions be revealed. Let false promises collapse. Let honest communication replace silence. Let the right person step forward with courage. And let every person who is not meant to remain in your path peacefully move away. Because Archangel Michael is not bringing you back into another cycle of confusion. He is leading you toward truth. If this person returns, let them return differently. No more triangles. No more secret conversations. No more emotional games. No more waiting in the shadows. No more wondering where you stand. Let there be clarity. Let there be honesty. Let there be peace. And if this connection is truly written into your future, let it be restored in a way that honors your heart and protects your dignity. Archangel Michael says, do not be impressed by sudden words. Watch what follows, asterisk asterisk. If they say they want you, let their actions demonstrate it. If they say you are their future, let their decisions align with those words. If they say they regret losing you, let them take responsibility for what happened. Because your future cannot be built on empty promises. Your heart deserves truth. Your spirit deserves peace. Your life deserves consistency. And now, chosen one, stand firm. The third party is not your enemy. The confusion is the enemy. The deception is the enemy. The emotional bondage is the enemy. And Archangel Michael is cutting through it all. Over the next few days, remain alert. Do not chase. Do not force. Do not react to every rumor or sign. Watch. Listen. Discern. Because something is shifting. The person who once remained silent may finally speak. The person who was confused may finally make a decision. The truth that was hidden may finally be revealed. And the connection that seemed impossible may suddenly enter a completely different season. Archangel Michael says, the battle is ending. The third-party interference is losing its power. The truth is rising. The chosen one is standing again. You have survived the betrayal. You have survived the waiting. You have survived the silence. Now prepare yourself for the revelation. Something is coming. And when it arrives, you will understand why heaven made you wait. Do not abandon your faith in the final moments. Do not allow fear to make you surrender what prayer has carried this far. Stand firm. Stay watchful. Keep your heart guarded. And remember this. What is truly written by God cannot be permanently stolen by a third party, ****. Your destiny is still alive. Your protection is still active. Your healing has begun. And Archangel Michael is still standing beside you with his sword raised. This is not the end. This is the moment when everything hidden begins to come into the light. Your season of confusion is ending, ****. Your season of truth has begun, ****.